Good morning, friends. I'm Karen from Quantum Healing with Tena Karen, if you don't know already. Just a little follow up from my last video that I did solo on abundance, and just a little update. I did it. I left my job. I left my hospital job. Yesterday was my last day officially on the payroll. So Monday, the 3rd of May, was actually my date of resignation. It's a little insane about how the whole process had kind of rolled its way out. I feel like I had prepared myself so much in my blocks and releasing those blocks and acknowledging and validating them that it came to a point where I had I did have a choice. You always have a choice, but it felt like I was at a point where I had to make that hard choice. What I've learned in my journey actually is that any time I feel any sort of resistance, any sort of fear, that the resistance is the fear itself. It's like I know that that's where I'm supposed to be going, because anytime that it feels uncomfortable, it means I'm too comfortable. So it's time to change, take off that cloak, peel off that layer and do something about it. I think that's what keeps us on our toes. It's like we get too comfortable that we don't know how to move anymore. And so like this whole process that I've done, it's like anytime it feels icky and like, oh God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that right now. That I know that I have to get my ass up and do it. So I did it. I went and I gave my resignation. They were really surprised by it, I have to say. I guess like some of them knew that my path was, on its way to what I'm doing now with Tena. But I guess they weren't sure that it was going to be that quick. And I honestly didn't know it was going to be that quick either. But, like the weather and just how the seasons change, we're just so rapidly evolving. I think if, it's that ballsy, like when I was speaking to you guys about it last time, I don't think I had made that decision yet on a date that I was going to leave. And it came just as quickly. I was just turning off that video and it was just like, this is what you're going to do. I came into a fork in the road of my journey of quitting my job. And it was like, okay, when I had decided this in October or around that time, I said, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I got like messages that it was going to be by springtime, like end of April. And I was like, oh my God, that's really soon. And technically, I could have rode the system a little longer, getting the money from, the insurance, like the salary insurance stuff for my sick leave and whatnot, because it did take a toll on my body. I stopped sleeping in August actually, and so I had to take the time for myself, and it was literally stress in my body, because I swear, like after I resigned, I slept like a baby that night. It's like I didn't have to answer to anyone anymore. It felt like as if I had released myself from that prison. And I was in that system, the hospital system, my whole life. That's all I knew. My whole family, we all grew up in a hospital. That's where they all worked, and that's all I knew was as a job, a stable, secure job. But I wrote an article about it on our website, and it's like you don't realize that prison that you're in, it is a prison. Because there's no room. I think they get you because it's a stable paycheck. You get sick days, you get stat holidays, you get weekends. Well, for me, it was weekends. You get 4 weeks of vacation paid, which sounds like a great deal, but you still have to kind of go in line of like asking permission to do things. Like, I had to ask permission to go take time off to be with Tena when she lost her aunt. And I'm like, that's something that I shouldn't be asking. I guess, for those of you who are in the system are going to be like, well, of course you have to ask. That's just the rules. I go, but I don't want to live a life with rules. I want to live a life on my own terms where I can make decisions that feel aligned with me, that feel like are serving me, where I could take charge of the quality of work that I do, not because that's what is expected of me, but because it comes straight from my soul. So there was a lot of undoing in this process. It was a really big puzzle for me, like leaving this job, because there's a lot of programs running through me that are generational and ancestral, the blocks of abundance and, lack and scarcity and unworthiness, of course. We don't feel worthy to be outside of that box. That's the whole thing. Sorry if it's windy. I don't know if you hear that. Maybe you do. But it's such a beautiful day today. Being out in nature because I can and I don't feel confined. Like, I used to go out here and feel like I could only stay for a certain amount of time because time was running out, because the day was going to end and I had to prepare myself for my job. Whereas now I don't really have a job that I'm tied to, but a job that I want to do, and it's flexible, and I'm the boss. I'm the co-boss. So it works around my availabilities, and I get to decide what the worth of my work is. I decide how much I want to invest in it, how much I want to invest in myself, how much I want to invest in our business, and how much I want to grow with my partner. How much do we want to expand together? There's so much innovation and motivation when you can take your life into your own hands. And again, I didn't realize how free it felt just to walk out those doors of my job after I said bye to old faces that looked like mine when other people would leave to pursue their dreams, which wasn't that many. I thought they were brave, and I thought they were also crazy. But fuck it, feels great to be crazy. Crazy enough that you trust blindly and willingly into something that you cannot see, but you could feel. It's just, there's such a connection there. There's such a surrender that just overtakes my body when I know that I am doing something good, that feels right, that feels like I am helping people on, so much beyond what I could have done at the hospital. I was treating cancer, yes. But it's like, I could treat the cancer, I could treat those symptoms of the cancer, like treat the cancer, but we're not. The work that we're doing, it's like, let's go to the fucking root of why you had cancer, why you got the cancer. There's so much depth. And I couldn't have these kind of conversations with people at work, they're so ingrained in the science of life, and even though science now these days are fucking botched, or these days, who knows what's genuine anymore and organic. So it's like, we need to break away from these systems when we realize that there's something off, so that we could branch away and continue the trend of making things organic. I think this is what we're called to do, a lot of us, to do those hard things so that we can be organic. Because the inorganic world is what's keeping us really small, limited, and not enabling us to expand ourselves in the ways that we are supposed to expand. So yeah. Quitting that job and making that choice was really quick, and I aligned with it. I really just went for it. And I was with Tina when I sent that email, and I was shaking but excited and ready. But I could feel like the double feeling, my scared ego, but then the soul that is just like, yes, girl, go fucking do it. You can do it. You're doing it. So there is like that courage that you just allow yourself to step forward and let that soul shine. When I said that, all the birds and the squirrels just flew around free. Exactly that. We are as free as we permit ourselves to be, and I'm choosing to be free. And I fucking love it. I think everybody should try it. Something, at least to even just entertain the idea of what freedom would look like to you. And how can you go and get it? How can you be that? So that's it. Just a little update. All is well in the world. God is good. Life is good. I've definitely stirred my ship. Like now I'm in charge of my own ship. And it feels damn great. It feels really good. So that's it, my friends. Just sending you all of my love. Always, forever. And I'll see you again.